Welcome to another episode of Profit. No, wait a minute.
Ugh.
To God, this family! That's right. Today is a special episode of the Atheist Dads, and that includes me, Steve Hayes. And joining me, take a pick, either one of you two.
Adam Adrianson.
Boom, Adam Adrianson.
And Dave Curry.
And Dave Curry, we've heard this guy before. I've heard actually both of you before. Welcome to another episode. That was my awesome intro, because I totally forgot that I had to make one. But I am so excited to be here. How about you guys?
Totally.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Been looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. I was pretty surprised when I hear it was an Atheist Ads episode. I was so stoked because I've got a list of questions that I'm going to be asking you guys that I have been itching to get answers from. So I hope you guys are ready.
We're ready.
Yeah. Before we
as
start,
ready as we can be.
right? Before we start, is there anything new and exciting going on, Adam? Since you're probably the best-looking one here, I'd like to start with you, please.
Unfortunately, new and exciting is not a part of an Atheist Dad's life.
Fair.
For me.
For you? That's all right. Is there anything you want to pimp? Like, do you got a blog or anything going on there? Like, have you invented the time machine or anything like that yet?
Well, I don't know how political people get, but I've been doing work for the last 15 years with the Socialist Party of Michigan, spmichigan.org, and yeah, that's what I do with the little spare time that I have.
Nice. Nice. Right. You work with Obama directly then? Is that right?
Ah!
Yay. David, how about you? Anything new and exciting?
Well, I guess I'm still at the point where I'm able to have like interesting stuff, but as an atheist dad. But right now, not really. No updates so far. Shoot, man. If people want to know about my last week, just go and watch our podcast on.
I know.
Podcast.
I know. That's the fun one, huh? That's
Let's see. Did a warrior run.
Woo!
Raised
the most money. Bunch of
heathens did. We were the top gaining team for that. That was freaking awesome. Gonna try and do that again next year. Nope, nothing else new.
That's it?
That's about it.
Man, that was exciting.
I know.
All right. Well, for me, this is the first time on Godless Family, and I am so stoked to be here. I watch this show every week, not because I'm forced to by my wife, but because I like it. As a matter of fact, usually when we watch it, since it's on so early for us, late for you guys, or at least for you, Adam, my kids get to watch it. So it's kind of cool to see their reaction and hear some of their questions while we're watching the show. And then also it's neat to hear, there's Mom, I see Mom, Mommy, hey Mommy, and stuff like that. So that's always fun. But it's pretty fun. It kind of sparks some interesting conversations, which is something that we were just talking about just a couple minutes ago before the show, about how much time we get to kind of talk about that kind of stuff as atheist dads. Because I'm a working Faja, as I believe both Adam and you are too, David.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Nice. And we both love gold. All of us love gold, right? All three of us?
I'm more of a platinum kind of guy.
Platinum guy. I love platinum. That doesn't really work.
I love gold.
But yeah, so I kind of wanted to jump right in with, I have no idea. I'm pretty sure. I mean, of course I have an idea if that question's in here. But kind of talking about, like I said, we were talking about that in pre-show. I wanted to know, as working dads, how much time do you get to kind of talk about either your atheism, or do you talk about your atheism, or how do you talk about gods with your kids since you are working Fajas? All right, okay, I could say pick a number, but Adam, you look like you want to talk. Do it.
Yeah, sure. I kind of take a cue from my parents a little bit. I was raised in the United Methodist Church, but not aggressively at all. We went to church some Sundays, other Sundays we didn't. And my parents, even though we did that stuff, my parents never quoted the Bible at me. Um, Barely talked about God or sin or anything like that.
Hmm.
They just, wanted me to do well in school and, wanted me to not be a complete bastard. And that's,
Sure.
I don't want to
Good goals.
force things
Yeah.
on my kids because I've seen what happens, with my friends growing up with religion being forced on them.
Mhm.
I just kind of want to stay out of that. I typically try to just, encourage curiosity, answer things as truthfully as I can. Sometimes that gets pretty uncomfortable, but
Yeah.
I don't ever lie. Maybe leave out the adult parts or what
Right.
have you. But um,
Sometimes
yeah,
Daddy gets rashes. Oh wait, dang it! This is the kitchen. Oh.
I don't. I, I try to let them come up with the questions.
Good.
Maybe try and lead them down a path if something's going well, that sort of thing.
Are there any like any of the Greek gods or Norse gods or anything like that you happen to favor that you've talked about, or maybe like watch Hercules or something like that? Any shows or anything that you have
Um,
seen?
no, no. My Aubrey does some of that. Exploring other religions with them. I think it's still a little bit too early uh, for a lot of analysis or thought about it, but they do enjoy the stories of whatever Greek or Roman mythology they've come across.
Nice.
Um, I don't think that my our youngest son he doesn't really care about any of it at all as long as there's a
Mhm.
good fight or something.
Right. No, I'm with you.
Our daughter, the older one, is she's a little more thoughtful about stuff like that. She has, she'll say, "Oh, I'm a Buddhist," or other things that she's into at the moment, and
Hmm.
we let her go with that, and
And
so
how old is your daughter again?
he is 8.
Oh,
She's
wow.
8.
Okay.
Now.
Nice. Wow.
So she's exposed to a lot of stuff that she's processing in various ways, and
Hmm.
um, yeah, I mean, say what you want about religion, it's interesting, and
No
so
doubt.
I can see how people can get into it from at least oh, that's neat kind of aspect.
Oh, absolutely. Some very interesting characters come from
Sure.
religions. I mean, yes, like I said, some of my favorite gods are some people actually used to believe them, so it's pretty cool. So yeah, that's awesome, awesome. David, how about you? What about you? What do you do to well, I guess, I mean, your daughter's very very young, so
Yeah, exactly. I
you
mean,
know really.
yeah, I don't really talk to her very much about atheism or anything just because she's still trying to understand shoes,
Fair
and the
enough.
fact that she needs to keep them on at some point. My daughter is
It's
only,
subjective.
yeah, you can go barefoot most of the
Well,
time.
it's kind of like pants,
Totally.
no? All right.
Oh, okay. Um, but yeah, my daughter, she is only 19 months, or well, I guess I mean a year and a half, whatever. And so I haven't really gotten the chance to talk to her about atheism or any of the Greek gods or anything like that. But
Mhm.
I mean, I do try to expose her to fantastical things, of course. Like we watch. It's funny. She actually enjoys watching the old Kevin Sorbo Hercules.
Who
Like she
doesn't
gets
really?
excited when she hears the theme song. She also will watch Star Trek together, and she's of course like every little girl out there digging on Frozen, and she loves Frozen right now. And so, I mean, I kind of want to go the same lines of exposure to other religions that I kind of went through. Like my family wasn't very heavily religion, um, heavily religious. Sorry, Aubrey's question was distracting me here. But I mean, they did expose me to, like the Greek mythology and Roman mythology, and my favorite movie growing up was Star Trek episode 4, The Journey Home, I think.
Oh,
Any nerds out there, Yeah, the one where they go back in time
The
and
whales, yeah.
yeah, that was my
Double
favorite.
dumbass on you, yeah.
Yeah.
I have
So
no
I mean,
idea.
I kind of, am learning as I go along, and I'm reading Parenting Beyond Belief, um, and yeah, just try to expose her to as much mythology as possible, and kind of tie it into Christian mythology and Jewish mythology, and even get into Islamic mythology. But
Well, I got
to a
well.
point. But still, I mean, like, of course, there's some horrible things that are in those religions.
Oh yes,
But
a
come on,
couple. Just a
Noah's
couple.
Flood is considered a freaking children's story to
Yeah,
the
there's rainbows in it. No?
rainbows and pretty animals.
People like animals.
And animals, right? Fluffy animals, all sorts
And
of
water. I mean, come on, you like to go swimming, right?
right? Well, people like boat rides. I don't know.
Wow.
So I mean, well, two at a time of those people like boat rides. But anyways.
Yeah,
Um,
but
but
to answer your other part, the amount of time that I have, like you said, I'm working full time and I'm also going to school full time, so I only have really a couple of hours to be with my family. So it's try to get in as much quality time as possible.
right. Well, I have two questions for you, Dave. One, so you're pro women wearing shoes? To make sure. Aubrey would
Well,
like to know.
I'm pro shoes.
Pro shoes.
I think
Wow.
that they can feel nice and they protect your feet from sharp things.
I think you just offended quite a large audience of theirs. I'm just saying, but that's okay. You know what? That's on you. Note that again, those are his own views, not necessarily the views of this here podcast. So
Well, would you prefer that I am pro barefoot women?
look, okay. Now you're just asking for a fight here. Okay, let's just try to keep this on track. The second thing I wanted to ask you is since your daughter's so young, what about outside influences? And like family other family members that may be religious, like that want to take her to church or to baptisms or throw her in a river. Wait, that is baptism.
That's well,
Whatever,
yeah.
whatever other things they want to do. Pie baking, pie sales, and stuff like that. I mean, stuff like that. Like, what about outside influences?
Well, I really think that my family kind of gets the gist of it. Like, I've talked to my mother about, the first instance of me coming out as an atheist to her was behind the topic of how I'm not going to be baptizing our child. So that kind of, set the precedent there.
Right. Yeah.
And the way that my wife's family was exposed to our lack of belief kind of set a precedent also.
Sorry.
It's all right. I mean, they found out I had a podcast, and then it was out in the open from there. So
And now they hate me, but that's okay. Whatever.
meh, it's here, no, not here or there, but I mean, really, I think that it's just going to have to come down to, explaining that this is my child and this is how I'm going to be raising them. And it's not like I don't want them to be included in her life or anything. It's just that, and not that I'm not wanting to get any parental advice from them, but as far as the beliefs and the things that she thinks. No, not the things that she thinks. Her beliefs and the way that she interacts with, other faiths. That is a personal family matter. That doesn't have to deal with them. They can go and do whatever they want. we're going to do what we want. We're all family. I just don't want you taking my daughter to church.
And I'm sure that's working out perfectly. They're letting it, they're completely respecting.
So far,
far.
I mean,
Awesome.
yeah, so far. So, I mean, there hasn't been any mention of, taking her to church, or, there
Sweet.
hasn't been any, so when are we baptizing her, or anything like that, so.
Maybe they've already done it. You have no idea.
It's possible, yeah.
I'm a little nervous about that with my parents. My parents sometimes are a little sneaky. It wouldn't surprise me if they're like, hey, we're gonna take kids to a movie, and then they go and fucking baptize them. If they're... Oh, damn it! Oh, a sore. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Aubrey. I'm sorry.
And I have no memory of it. If my parents had done that to my kids when they were younger, I probably wouldn't care because they're not going to remember it. It has no bearing on my life when it happened to me. I can't imagine it would for them. Now that they're a little bit older, that would upset me because they would remember it, know what that's about. And I think, again, my parents aren't, thumping a Bible at anyone, so it's hard for me to imagine them, wanting to do that and taking drastic measures to go behind my back or something. But, if they did, I mean, yeah, sure, I'd be upset, but it wouldn't be the end of the world for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, ultimately, if my kids did remember that and someday they understood what that situation was about, I think that would maybe have an effect on their view of the religion. And I like to trust that my kids are going to know how to think for themselves and be independent and be able to, have fairly accurate bullshit detectors. And I think someday they're gonna. I'm just confident that they're going to be just fine to deal with whatever religious silliness goes on, outside of our house. It's just a matter of giving them the tools, which, without anything to compare, without any experiences to, reflect on. I mean, that's kind of a, it's not the best thing to have to go through something like that, but, it gives them a tool to work with and an experience to reflect on.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, we're all affected by Christianity, whether it's
no doubt,
by direct experience or, having to deal with
crazy congressman.
Yeah,
congressman. I was just gonna say, people like Michelle Bachmann and Sarah Palin and shit like that. The people that have political power. Yeah, absolutely.
Censor, Steve. Censor.
So, I mean,
this is really hard. I'm so sorry.
It's gonna touch your life. It's just a matter of learning how to deal with it in a constructive way. Right.
Absolutely. So I wanted to hit on then. There's a couple of the questions that are kind of outside of religion a little bit here, and that I was kind of curious about. We talked a little bit about kind of activities already that we kind of do with our kids and stuff, but. Do you guys help with the with caretaking when it comes to the kids? Like when you get home, what's your responsibilities, or like what's your role, or what do you do? Kind of thing like.
Well, for me, it's been kind of shaken up over the last few years. Aubrey had been working, out of town and living out of town during the week. So for a while I was a single dad during the week. So, I did all of it to varying levels of success.
I would be dead. My wife, seriously, is the only reason I'm living right now.
I gained a lot of
How the hell you do it?
But, now that she's home, Aubrey's kind of a take charge kind of person, and she likes things done a certain way, and I do less than I did before and less than I should, but I help out as much as I can.
Nice. What about you, David?
Yeah, I mean, just about the same thing there. I mean, I try to help out as much as possible. especially on the weekends because I don't have classes to deal with, I don't have work to deal with, and that's kind of really daddy-daughter time is the weekends there where
Hmm.
I'll wake up with her in the morning and make her breakfast, and we'll watch cartoons or whatever and hang out in the morning and go through the day until mommy wakes up sometime around noon, and go from there. So daily thing, yeah, I mean, come home and try to get some studying done, and then it's off and on daddy duty for the rest of the night, really, from studying to go change a diaper, back to studying, to let's have dinner, back to studying. So
So you okay? Now you touched on a little bit. Then I was going to ask when you say daddy duty or just kind of the regular stuff. So you change diapers, like both of you guys should change diapers and do like the whole 9 yards with the kids. Then, right?
Except nursing.
Well, have you
Well,
tried? I try. It doesn't work. I mean, I've really tried, and it's just
as we've
you know,
learned from the Fockers that you can milk anything with nipples.
anything with nipples. That's right. So then let me ask you then, how do you guys feel about it? Because there are some people who, at least there's some people that I know that are very much against, like, they're like, hey, this is, like changing the diapers and doing that kind of stuff. That's what the woman does, and that's the woman's responsibility. I'm the man. I bring in the money, or you do the yard work, and I do the take out the trash and blah 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 blah
where
blah.
are you
So
from?
I'm from, well, it's not me. I have some friends. I said this. Trust me, there's some really douchebag friends that I have. But so they're at least they're very the whole masculine aspect of that, right? So I was kind of curious, like, taking care of the kids, especially daughters, for example, when it comes to like picking the dresses and things like that. Like, does that make you feel less masculine? Like, how do you guys feel about having to sometimes dive in and play, tea time and I don't know whatever else girls play with. Mine's too young at the moment to know, but
As a feminist for 15 plus years, the whole concept of masculinity is yeah, I don't even really know what that means anymore. Um,
I like that. I wish many people shared that opinion. I really do.
maybe I'm just blocking out memories from my hometown, but no, it doesn't bother me at all to you know uh, my daughter would put my hair in bows and whatnot, and
That's
so
awesome.
what? So what? If I think masculinity, if it's anything for a lot of people, it's an excuse to not grow up. Um,
Yeah.
it's it's a mental or social handicap, really. And I've heard in the past few years about people trying to redefine what it is to be masculine, and that's all fine and well. But I think just leaving the concept behind wouldn't bother
Yeah.
me at all either.
I definitely like that. I know that I myself am not. So you ask where I'm from. I'm from Maple Valley, and out here in Maple Valley, there's a lot of rednecks, a lot of farmers, a lot of people who are trucks and mudding and going off into the woods and stuff like that. So when it comes to like for me, like when I was very much into computers, I was the weak kid and things of that nature. So
Right, right.
that doing that kind of stuff was the that made you a wuss or whatever the case may be, and so yeah, that was kind of like my experience when it comes to the whole masculine thing. Is I completely agree with you, Adam. I definitely like try to remove that concept of like, you like trucks, you like trucks, cool. If you like teacups, you like teacups, cool. I don't give a crap. I just want to play. You know what I mean? I don't care if it's
Yeah.
pink, blue, red, whatever. But that's the thing is like like where I live, I myself worry a little bit about that, just because though my kids may not feel that influence here in my home, that they're going to go out into the real world, they're going to go out into school and other people's houses and stuff like that, and then I mean, I hear all the time, like in the stores, like, hey, let's go over here, like, no, those are girl toys and things like that. I just
Right.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean, that just kind of worries me a little bit, but
There was this one time when I came home from work and
Oh, damn, I was hoping it was going to be band camp. All right.
my kids were uh, playing dress up, and my son was wearing one of his sister's dresses. I was a little taken aback, not quite ready to deal with that.
What, he was that damn good looking?
He was pretty cute, yeah.
Right? You're like, damn! Right.
Like, wow, that boy looks good in a dress. But no, I was uncomfortable from my son's in a dress point of view.
Right.
But I let him go and do his thing, and thought about it later, and yeah, I haven't had that reaction since. It is interesting what will surprise you. But I don't know. I've got a pretty open mind, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm totally against the whole, girl toy, boy toy thing. Hey, yeah, that actually sounds kind of funny. But like, for instance, driving through, like the McDonald's drive-through, and you get yourself a Happy Meal, and they're like, do you want a girl toy or a boy toy? And it's like, okay, which one is the Pokemon?
I was just gonna say, I want the Pokemon.
Yeah, it's like, I want that one. Okay, then you want a boy toy. It's like, no, I want a Pokemon toy.
Exactly.
It's like, the other one you have is a Beanie Baby. Those are those girl toys? It's
no. That one, that's nonsense, and two, I gotta catch them all, so I need the Pokemon toy. Come on.
Yeah. And so, I mean, we've actually run into a couple of instances where, other people have made comments about the way that we dress Charlie.
I heard about this.
Yeah, I mean, not only the fact that her name is Charlotte and we call her Charlie, that's not confusing at all for some people. But one time, my wife, she was at the store, at the grocery store, and, we're nerds. We like, nerdy stuff, and so I got...
Funyuns and Mountain Dew.
Totally. But, I got her, like, a Ninja Turtles shirt, and our friends picked up a Star Trek shirt, onesie for her to wear, and, she has all sorts of different things that would be classified as boys' clothes. And she went to the store, and she was wearing this Ninja Turtles shirt. And this woman made the comment, "Oh, your son is so cute, look at that, blah, blah, blah." And, my wife is just like, "Oh, it's my daughter, actually. That's my daughter right there." And the woman's comment back was, "Well, you shouldn't dress your daughter in boys' clothes." It's like...
That's so disgusting.
You're kidding me, right? It's a Ninja Turtles shirt. There are plenty of girls out there that like comics, that like these sorts of things.
Right.
Nerdy stuff is no longer just for boys.
And it shouldn't matter.
Yeah,
it shouldn't matter. Yeah, at all. Whatever they're into.
Yeah, so I'm completely against enforcing gender stereotypes where the diaper duty and things like that are for women, and only pink toys are for girls, and only blue toys are for boys. They're toys, and it's a diaper.
David, do you have any idea? Do you know if your daughter is going to go to a particular school?
I would like her to go to the same school that I went to.
Wow, I would hate that for my kids. But, so I mean, do you have any sense of how? I mean, you must have a sense of how they used to deal with, gender and gender roles.
Oh, right, yeah.
Are you worried about, I mean, I know my son, his first year in kindergarten, he had, there was a period where there's a lot of pressure for him to do boy stuff. That didn't come from us, that came from school, which, we discovered we don't really have a lot of control over what goes on there. Have you given any thought to how you're going to deal with that?
Actually, no. Thanks for bringing that up. Now something else to worry about. I'm really not too sure. Man, I would hope that it wouldn't come down to, because the school district that Steve and I both went to actually is called Tahoma out here in Puget Sound, King County, Washington, whatever.
Maple Valley.
And I mean, it's actually a fairly progressive school. Like you don't really have the kind of situations where you're going to be getting parents calling you about how your boy was acting like a girl or something like that, or
Well, yeah.
not necess- it's not as heavy as some other places in the country.
Yeah, but
Um,
that school also was very heavily white, and yeah,
well,
so I mean, we didn't
that's
have very much diversity. I think we
that
had.
has definitely changed in just the last 10 years. I can tell you that.
That's
Uh,
good.
yeah, it's actually a very diverse school district as far as I'm aware of right now. But um, man, I would just hope that I would be able to assert my right as a parent, where if my daughter wants to be involved in a sport that's considered a boys' sport, that she should be able to do that. And if the school isn't
Right.
willing to do that, then my daughter doesn't need to go to that school anymore.
Or Uncle Steve's coming over and pitching a fit.
Right? Or yeah, we're gonna start a petition.
You don't want to get me mad. I don't like being
And
no.
I don't
No one
want
likes me angry.
none of this powder puff football stuff. No, I want my daughter to be involved in full padding football. Actually,
She wants to play, sure, yeah.
yeah, if she wants to play it, sure, fine, why
Yeah.
not?
See, it's interesting you asked that, Adam, because my 6-year-old has of late started to do a few things that have been kind of new, like things like, oh hey, I'm going to close the door when I change my clothes, and I'm going to like I don't want to play with that because that's a girl's thing. So he said that a couple of times, and the thing that I do with him is when he says no, that's a girl's thing, is I ask him, well, why? Like why is that a girl's thing? Like I like My Little Pony. Like, are you kidding me? Check them out. Like, they've got these awesome tattoo things on their butt, and they've got like, they have magic powers and things of that nature. So, I usually just ask them like, why do you think that's a girl's toy? And you shouldn't be afraid to play with that because it's fun. It's all about having fun. So.
Yeah, it's kind of scary how kids pick things up so uncritically and take
Oh
them
yeah.
as that's the way it's supposed to be. Yeah.
Yeah, it can be really scary. Really scary, especially when you draw things like the Atheist A, and then your kid does that in class and things. That just I've been scolded a couple of times for that. But there was something I was totally gonna segue into that was awesome because I make super sweet segues. But I remember now. So I was looking over here at the Q&A, and lovely Amanda Hayes asks, is there anything you and your wives disagree with in regards to your children's secular upbringing? So, David, how about you? Anything exciting?
Oh, man.
You need time to think.
Possibly, or to have her come down here and answer that question.
Right? It's just like, hey, come over here real quick. This is the Atheist Dad's episode, okay? You're supposed to be on the ball here.
I mean, so far we haven't really had any disagreements. I mean, we're both reading, Parenting Beyond Belief, and we're both digging it, and we haven't come to any disagreements where it's like. Actually, when I actually, she doesn't like it when I point out the whole girl toy, boy toy thing at McDonald's. She doesn't like it when I do that. Where I'll sit there and, do you want a girl toy or a boy toy? It's like, well, which is which? She's like, stop it, just ask for which toy you want. So, but that's not really parenting, is it?
No, but I support that, David. I like that. Yeah. What about Adam? How about you?
I don't think there's any points of major disagreement. I mean, Aubrey gets irritated when my folks take the kids to church. I'd rather they didn't, but again, I went to the same church and I turned out okay, so I don't see what the big deal is. The only major thing, or the most major thing, which isn't major at all, really, is the I don't want to say aggressiveness, but Aubrey's doing a lot really early, in my view, with the kids. And I can totally see her reasons for wanting to. I personally would be maybe a little more comfortable going a little more slowly, but if that's what she wants to do, I don't really see any harm in it.
Like in relation to their exposure to religion?
Yeah,
or...
yeah. We did one year for one of the holidays. It must have been around in December. We learned about Hanukkah and Christmas, and we had kind of a comparative religion thing, and that was cool and all. The kids weren't terribly into it because they were like 4 and 6 at the time, but that's the kind of preparing that Aubrey wants to do with them, and like I said, it's not hurting anything, so I'm okay with it.
I'm curious though, like what about and I can understand that. I guess I'm kind of curious about like them going to going to church. I mean, isn't that like directly disregard, like basically just a smack in the face to your disbelief, or your lack of belief really is what it is. Like both, if your parents know that both of you guys are atheists, and you know that you don't believe that, the fact that they still ask and then take them almost seems to me like they're just that like they don't like.
They don't really ask. They just say we're taking them to church. And I mean,
do you feel that's kind of stepping on your lack of belief? Again, I don't want to call it belief.
I could ask them to go out of their way and not take them to church on Sundays when they have them. I could do that.
Like slash their tires.
After they've taken the kids, for a couple of days over the weekend, so we could, do our thing without the kids.
Hey, this is a G-rated show, okay? Oh, I mean like things around the house and stuff. Okay.
Yeah, sleep. But again, I went to the same church. I'm okay. It's not like, it's cool. It's not hurting anything. We didn't. I didn't tell them not to.
Right.
I don't think Aubrey did. So.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's just interesting you say that because I heard I just recently read something about that it doesn't hurt anything, and this is totally not a stab at you, Adam, but it just totally sparked something that I remember hearing about a story of a girl who was in a wheelchair and she couldn't walk, and she started in the youth group. She was in youth group age, and she started in this youth group, and it was a church youth group, and eventually it started to come on. It eventually turned into the whole like lay on hands, you be healed thing, and a lot of people were heard a couple people say that what's the harm, and then when I kind of thought about it, one thing that came to mind was well when they lay on hands, she's not going to get healed, and how's that going to make her feel? Like she's going to think, well, maybe Jesus didn't, I didn't have enough faith, or why didn't Jesus heal me? Why did Jesus give that superstar, why did you let him win the Super Bowl, but he didn't let me, doesn't let me walk or something like that. And that can really damage the psyche of someone, I think.
Well, I mean, religion can do that, sure. But again, we're involved with our children's religious education.
Well, yeah.
And, I don't know what that girl's parents, what they were doing, if they encouraged it or what, but it's not like some people send their kids to school and never interact with their academic education.
Yeah.
They go to school, they do it there, they come home, they're not involved. That's not how we are.
Right, and I guess that's maybe a big difference. I guess that's something I'm just thinking about is a really huge. Yeah, I guess it is a huge difference between with the way like I kind of grew up with the way that I see it, and versus what you like what your daughter actually has going for. You actually talk about it. You guys are open. You guys are willing to look at other religions and things. Whereas sometimes some of those other, those people are, like you said, the parents are all about it, and all of a sudden, that's just what happens. So I guess that helps out a lot, to the fact that you're more open to talk about it in a more skeptical and rational manner, rather than just have faith and believe it.
Yeah, and I mean, also, psychological scars, yeah, they suck, but they're not the end of the world either. I mean, people change dramatically for various reasons. Whether it's if this girl suddenly realized, oh, this has been bullshit the whole time. Yeah, she might feel down or whatever, but also she'll have learned something about or she could be deluded the rest of her life too. I mean,
Right.
Some psychological scars can be beneficial, I suppose.
I mean, there's
Some.
sometimes there can be an upside to a situation.
A silver lining.
Well, is that a silver? Yeah, I suppose silver lining.
Yeah,
I was going to
yeah.
say. I hope that wasn't an ends justify the means kind of thing, because that
Well, yeah,
would
we
be
should
horrible.
all submit, force our children to have to endure that sort of thing, so
Right.
that they'll grow up to be better people.
Of course.
Again, it's responsible parenting. I think
Yeah.
There's a lot of Christians who, I think qualify as responsible in that matter. But I think the vast majority aren't.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay. So I want to move into. Actually, I see here that Aubrey says Adam's parents and I agree that they could take the kids to church every once in a while as part of their religious education. But yeah, I don't really like it. And
Yeah, I recall
you're
that.
sleeping.
Thanks for the reminder.
And she also said you're sleeping on the couch tonight. Huh? That sucks, man. Sorry. No, I'm just kidding. Right. So, do you guys have any goals as fathers then? Like, what do you hope to accomplish when it comes to like with like not only just you yourself and what you hope to do, but what do you hope to pass on to your kids? Like, what's one of the main things that if there's something you really want to make sure that your kids learn from you, what is it?
Well, for me, I came through, small town white America, growing up, more or less being involved in that culture.
Like every day you heard and I'm proud to be an American, or at least that whole thing, like when you
Something
wake up.
along those lines, yeah.
Nice. That's the wake up music. Cool. All right.
And then I become, I hit post-adolescence, and all of a sudden I'm an atheist and I'm a socialist, and American culture is like what's that all about? What's it mean? I didn't really have a sense that it was worth anything, because it's so deeply tied to religion in a lot of cases, and other things that I disagree with. So one of the things that I want for my kids is to come through into adulthood with a sense of belonging and a sense of purpose, other than just being anti what you've dealt with for the last 18 years or whatever.
Right.
That's the big one for me. They're both smart kids. They'll do well in school. Yeah.
It sounds like they have great parents.
Probably.
Yeah, maybe. Right. What about you, David? What's
Ironically.
it's got to be something to do with that, right? What is it that you hope that at least you only have one at the moment?
One at the moment.
Right when you have the second one, little Steve Jr. I was wondering, like what is it that you would be, what is it that you would, kind of hope that that your kid gets from you? What do you hope?
Dude, if you can convince Deanna to name our son Steve and not Arthur, I will give you props. All right.
Why would you not want to name it Steve? Look at this, and look what I mean. Never mind. I can't even go into the greatness. We have a whole nother show of how great.
Anyway, right.
What would you teach them? Yeah. What do you hope that they gain from you?
Well, yeah, I mean, at the moment, because I do just have my daughter, and I do consider myself to be a feminist, and I do consider myself to be a humanist as well. And so, I mean, along those lines, I want there's things that I want for her, and there's things that I want her to be able to do for herself. Like I want her to be able to grow up in a world where she doesn't have to be treated as a second-class citizen, where she has her own rights to her body, and she can make decisions for herself, and she can stand up for herself, and she can be equal to the people around her. And she doesn't have to be afraid of being who she wants to be. Like, I would seriously, I want to teach her to be a free thinker and to have an opinion and to be able to formulate those opinions on her own. And it would be no problem to me if, she got older and she came to me and she said that she was religious in some way, as long as, I knew that she came to those conclusions on her own, through her own logical thinking or whatever. I wouldn't have a problem with that, because that is her decision to make.
Right.
And really, I would hope that the one major thing that I could, instill upon her would be that as a woman, she needs to not be afraid to stand up for herself. She needs to be confident in herself and be confident in her opinion, confident in her skills, and be able to be financially, well, not financially stable, but just stable with herself and with the world around her, I suppose.
Nice. I'm gonna give my quick answer, because apparently I didn't answer a different question. But mine, the one thing that I kind of hope that I get from my kid, or that I give to my kids, is the willingness to have an open discussion, and to be open-minded. I really am very much a big advocate of having discussions and trying to talk things out, because the best way to learn and the best way to, the best way that we can to progress is to have a conversation and see where we can go. If you disagree, that's fine. You're welcome to disagree. But I just, I want them to be able to have the desire to, to want to have an open discussion and to be willing to learn. And to get to that second part that I will come backstep real quick, about the differences of if there's anything that we disagree on. I see why my wife asked this question, because it's very true. I happen to disagree with Amanda about my openness with being an atheist. I see a lot of and hear a lot of proselytizing from all over the place, and I want my child to not be afraid to say I'm an atheist, and not be nervous to that anything bad is necessarily going to happen to them because of that. And I'm just, like I said, I'm personally, I'm gonna say, like, oh, I'm proud to be an atheist, if that really makes any sense. I mean, it's just,
whatever that may mean.
Yeah, whatever that means. I'm proud to be an atheist in the aspect of, I came to my own conclusions. I do the research. I'm skeptical, and I don't just take it on someone's word. I actually look more into it. So So for me, yeah, I'm very much in your face. I'm not one that if I see something that's like religious in a classroom, I'm one to step up and say something about it, and say, hey, this is inappropriate, or if I get anything, if the kid gets anything in the mail, or sorry, in the mail in the backpack coming home. Believe me, if they're going to be handing out, flyers that are something religious, oh, they'll be getting some from Steve and the Thought Prophets to be handing out and be passed along. So I'm very, 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 like I said, outspoken about my atheism. So sorry, dear. I wanted, yeah, I definitely need to make sure that's very clear. Also, hi, Cordy. I don't see you, but I see that you said something, and I absolutely love you. Thanks for joining us on this show too. You rock. Cordy is the best. He freaking is the best. So we have 9 minutes. I've got a few. We really kind of touched on most of the questions as we talked through some things. So I was kind of curious. Do you guys have anything that you wanted to kind of touch on or hit on? Is there anything you feel you need to say, or you want to pimp, Adam? Is there anything that you want to jump on?
No, I'm not much of a pimp.
But that's from this angle. That's not what I see.
Because well, it's hard out here being a pimp,
right? Yeah.
when you're trying to get that money for your rent.
Hey.
Oh
boy.
Well, I mean, we could touch on. There's a couple. Oh, Emma, welcome back, Emma. She has a question here. Or more of a statement, actually. Emma Ruley, who joins us on our show every once in a while.
Hi, Emma.
My uncle was my first open atheist. If he wasn't open and talked about it, I'd be very in the closet atheist.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that my wife was, that's one thing she felt for a long time as a young atheist with no, idea of how to go about, how that works for people, and no one to talk to about it or relate to with. I think it is important to stand up and make other points of view heard. If not for you or anyone but for the community in general. Because
yeah,
definitely.
I think homosexual folks have had a similar experience.
Definitely.
People in small towns, they're isolated. They don't know anyone. How do they? There's no role models for them to emulate like there are with heteros or Christians, and
absolutely,
I agree. That's really important for people, for the community in general.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's one of the main reasons I know why David and I started our show, Prophetcast. Go to Prophetcast. Say that a few more times. We started our show, and I kind of started speaking out was because, like I said, where I lived, there's nobody out here that's speaking out, saying anything. I don't know a single. I know a couple of them now, but they're in a private, secret group, and they don't speak out. And I'm not afraid to speak out because I've been pretty educated in Christianity, and so I'm ready to talk with people. And I think that it's ridiculous that we should be hiding. I think that we should, again, be proud. However weird that sounds, be proud of being an atheist. Be proud of who you are, and don't let other people scare you into hiding in the closet. And that's the thing is one of the main things that I know David and I promote all the time is the reason why we record what we have, and the reason why I post everything public is not because I think I'm going to be able to convince someone or the person I'm talking to. It's for the other people that are out there reading it and listening to it, that are on the fence or that have questions, that can hear that other perspective, that help them get to where they're going, or perhaps even get to the dark side. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and sometimes it really does take just a little bit of exposure to someone who is like-minded, even though you may not at that moment understand fully, your position, or you may still be on the fence. that it's good to get that exposure, which is why I mean a lot of these conservative Christian families are wary of sending their children off to college, because especially if they're in an isolated situation where they're just going to church and they're going to school and they're involved in their community, and then they get sent off to this college and they're exposed to all these different people and these kids, they finally find someone that they can relate to that is like-minded, where they're previously were unable to express themselves.
Yep.
And now they have someone that they can express who they really are. And I kind of agree the same way, like you were saying there, that sometimes, not that like homosexuals are influencing our children and turning them gay. It's just that it's part of who they are, and sometimes they just need a little exposure to realize that
right.
That this is who I am, and
right.
I cannot change that.
Yeah, and they're getting exposure. I mean, that's the thing, is kids when you ask them, like, what do you think, is there anything wrong with a boy marrying a boy? Like most of the kids I've talked to, they say no, they don't see any issue with it. Same thing with girl on girl. And so they're taught, it's taught to them to that it's wrong. So I think exposing that it's completely okay to be gay and it's completely okay to be an atheist is something we should be doing, and we should not be shunned away from it, because when you don't step up and say anything, that's when they win.
I think that also there's an issue, well, not necessarily an issue, kind of a benefit to the amount of technological advances that have happened just within the last 20 years, where kids today have far more access to the world than we have at any point in our history. Where these kids are able to pull out their phone and just straight up go and find any opinion, find any view that they want, and it's easier for them to be exposed to things that they identify with.
They push a button and then they literally ask Google the question, like, beep beep, Google, what's the average penis size? Sorry, damn it, this is a kid's show. Sorry. Hey, man, I'm gonna get hit after this. I feel it.
Well, that's anatomy. I mean,
yes, right. I mean, that's where I was going from, right? And then what's the average size of a child's pelvis and femur bone? And that's where they were going.
What is it called when you don't believe in God or something like that?
Yeah.
Try to bring it back around here, Steve. Try to bring it back around.
Yeah, right. So, no, I completely agree. That's the access to information has helped out a lot.
Yeah, and that's why I think that there's a lot more statistics that are coming out that the millennial generation and the younger generations are becoming far more secular. They're being, there's more kids that are coming out as gay and things like that, and so they're able to be exposed sooner to similar mindsets and similar ideas, and I just see it as a complete benefit, and being the tech nerd that I am, I cannot wait for the next 20 years of technological advances in communication and technology or in information.
Totally.
So, handhelds, wearables. Where's my Pit Boy?
I'm already trying to make one, like put my phone on there, because I think that'd be freaking sweet. So we got a minute. Is there anything else that anybody wanted to touch on, bring up, throw out, pimp up, pimp out, pimp in, pimp over?
Nope. I'm good.
No? Well, I'd like to pimp something. For those of you who don't know, you guys should come check out the website, godlessfamily.com, because they have an amazing set of, they have the backlog of all of their previous webcasts. And they also have all sorts of great resources for families to go to. So definitely go check out the website. Follow them on Twitter by searching for Godless Family. And also check out mine and David's show, ProphetCast. You can find us on Sunday. Find us on at Sunday. Find on Sunday, whatever. Go on Sundays at 9:30 Pacific time, and go to our website, thoughtprophets.com. Follow us on Twitter by searching for ProphetCast. But mostly, go to Godless Family Resource, because it's awesome. Adam, thank you so much for joining us with this. This was so much fun. It was a blast, and
Thank you for
yeah,
listening, Steve.
absolutely, absolutely. I loved the insight. I thought that you had a couple good things to say. I mean, I'll admit there's a few. It's good. No,
I'll work
thank you
on
very
it.
much. Yeah, next time, really come on, bring your A game, man. I really appreciate it. No, thank you very much. It was awesome, David. I see you all the time, so I'm not going to give you as nearly as much of like a nice, hey, you did a great job. But you're beautiful, so thanks for joining, and I'm glad that you jumped in.
Aw.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's always good to come on here. I really enjoyed the last time I was here, and
Yeah.
this was awesome, man.
Absolutely. It's a great group. Aubrey and Amanda do some amazing things, and oh, come on. Oh, come on, Cordy. 3 inches? Come on. Never mind. Yeah, they do some great things. They work really hard. Yeah, I know you can buy some stuff at besecular.com/godlessfamily, I believe is the link that you can go. So go there and help support them. I definitely recommend a patron, which I believe we'll talk to Aubrey about, or she's been talking about a little bit. So be on the lookout for that guy. And yeah, thanks again, everyone, for joining us. And you have a godless night. End of the show.